Hello and welcome to our 100th episode of Learning Space. For those of you who don't know what you've just joined, it's the 100th episode of Learning Space. We're a show that comes out roughly every other week and tries to bring to our audience a little bit of everything from the world of science education with a whole lot of emphasis on astronomy and planetary science. In this episode, we're going to look back on all the amazing things, or at least a very small selection of all of the amazing things that have happened in the past 100 episodes. And we're going to work on looking ahead to, well, what we're planning to start doing come fall. As a heads up, we are going to have no regularly scheduled content in August. I will be at the International Astronomical Union meeting in Hawaii. Yes. Sometimes we get to do science in amazing places. And George is going to be working on dealing with all of the wonderful chaos that is called summer in the STEM Center at SIUE.
In the Midwestern United States.
Yes, where it is 700% humidity today. So you've been in the majority of the past 100 episodes, Georgia. So what have really been the highlights for you?
Yeah, and that's such a hard question because what you just said a second ago, where it's a whole lot of everything, really is in a way a good way to describe the show. We're so, we're flexible that way. There's so many aspects of science and science education that you can look at and that you experience. And so we end up talking to all kinds of amazing people, and everybody is so passionate about what they're doing. There's nobody that's been on the show that's not been passionate about what they're doing, and they just make you want to do whatever they're doing. And so you come away after every show going, all right, I have to try that. I have to go to that site. I have to look at that program closer. It's really amazing. So it was really difficult to choose. And of course, 100 episodes. Yeah, I've been in most of them, not all. And it was really an amazing task. I had the sense of making out an invitation list to a wedding for some reason, where you have to keep it small, and you have like 99 people you could and want to invite, but you only have room for 12 or something. And so what do you do? So we have a selection, or I got a selection. It's by no means necessarily the best, or it's just things that sort of rose up in my mind. And I guess I made a connection to them probably in some way, but I may not even really know what the connection is. So we have a selection, but you can go on the YouTube, right, and go to our channel. And is it Astrosphere Vids? There's actually a Learning Space.
The Learning Space is its own channel on YouTube, and we are unfortunately one of the many shows that is having a moment of, as Google works to decouple everything from Google Plus that it previously forcibly coupled to Google Plus. So this show was originally part of the Astrosphere Vids channel, but because of Google Plus, we had to split it off. And now it's standalone, and we have a YouTube channel that has this horrible long name. But if you go to Google Plus, so plus.google.com/+sign Learning Space CQ, everything is linked off of that. And if you Google YouTube Learning Space, it will get you there. And of course, everything is up on cosmiquest.org, where we are part of the Educators Zone.
Right, and so we can maybe just do a link to the whole archive if you really want to go poke around in some of the old episodes of.
And if you found this, you're on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, so it's all findable. It's all findable. The tough part is remembering the exact details, but you can get there. So yeah, so I thought about all the stuff that we've done and talked about and experienced over the past 100 shows, and I sort of categorized it rather into 4 different areas. We've done a whole lot, of course, with outreach. So that's maybe the first group we can go to. And I picked out a couple of episodes that really stuck in my mind. It's just some great people we've talked with who are out there doing astronomy outreach. And I don't know which one you want to.
It starts with Mike Symons.
Yeah, we talked with him. So Mike Symons is, there he is. Actually, it's Symons, isn't it?
Symons, yes. I constantly rename him. I've known him for years.
Yeah, too. I used to get it right. Now
well, there's also a Mike Symons.
I know, so. That's who I confuse him with. But Mike Symons is with Astronomers Without Borders, which is a great group, and he does many, many things, but he's such a big player in the field of outreach with astronomy, and he's just a great example of one of those people that they're just doing it for the love of it, sort of, your basic amateur astronomer that just wants to get out there and make sure everybody's involved. So we've had him on, especially with the Global Astronomy Month, because he's involved with that. And so he's come on and told us about all the different ways that you can get involved in, especially Global Astronomy Month, which is April. But, these things go on all year. So, of course, you can really jump in at any time, but April is a highlight. So this is just a couple of the programs that were going on during Global Astronomy Month that he was highlighting. There was ways to be involved online with online observing. They had 30 nights of star peace. It's a very much a multicultural kind of activity. And then he had, this one is the poetry. It was also, very much artsy. They had music, poetry involved, so you could write a poem about astronomy, and everything was shared out through their blog and their website. So just all kinds of ways to be involved, no matter what you're interested in, what aspect of astronomy you like to do. There was a way to do it. Every April in Global Astronomy Month. So Mike Symons was great at sharing all of his wonderful things with us. And then we had a pair of local amateur astronomers to Edwardsville, Terry and Jeff Menz, if you want to, I think I have a picture of them. They are involved in outreach as one of the Riverbend astronomers. It's a local amateur astronomy group here near Edwardsville, Illinois. And they came on, and this was one of the earlier shows, and they were kind enough to come on when we were just sort of figuring ourselves out. And they were so passionate about sharing astronomy with the public. And they are very involved with the NASA activities. So here is, these are amateur astronomy activities that you can get. This is Meteor Right or Meteor Wrong, which is a popular one.
And this is part of the NASA Night Sky Network.
Yes, thank you, yes. So yes, this is a program where if you're a group or an organization and you do a lot of outreach, you can get involved with NASA's program, and they will send you kits that you can use with your outreach activities, and then NASA asks you to send back to them some demographic information, how many people you interacted with, who was there, and then they will keep sending you new kits. And so it's a really nice program for amateur astronomers, astronomy clubs. The STEM Center actually is continuing to do that, so any group can get involved with that. And so they shared some of the things that they do and just why they love outreach so much. They are, again, amateur astronomers, and they're just doing this because they love it. So it's really great to interact with those kinds of folks it's just a passion. It's just something they love.
And this is part of, with Learning Space, how we bring to the forefront the idea that if you're teaching astronomy, you don't have to be a teacher in a school or a university professor. And if you're learning astronomy, you can do it all sorts of different places, whether it be at a museum, on the sidewalk from an amateur who's set up with a Night Sky Network kit. You and I have gone to Annie's custard stand, I don't know how many times, to do different events.
Yeah.
And so we're constantly trying to bring in all these different ways from outreach to, well, let's keep going down the list.
Sure. So where do you want to go next?
Well, we have formal ed next, I think.
Sure. So as Pamela has mentioned, there's all these ways outside of a formal classroom that you encounter science and you encounter astronomy, and that's all sort of grouped as informal education, and which is becoming a very big thing because it is the bulk of your life. You know, sometimes it feels like you're always in school, but really you're not. You do spend a whole lot of your life outside of a formal classroom. So that part is the informal time. But when you are in the classroom, that's formal science education. And we have lots of resources for teachers, and we love to talk to teachers about how they're doing astronomy or doing science in the classroom. So we had a couple of nice programs where we had teachers come in or at least be on the show and talk to us about what they are doing in their classroom. And do you want to do Mole Day first?
Yeah, I have no words. I'm just going to stumble. Yeah, it's also quite, I couldn't figure out what it was without you saying.
You need a little context, I know. So this is a picture of they're moles, and I actually don't remember the story about why they're dressed. They appear to be dressed up. One has a nice little hat on, and the other one has a very interesting mustache. But they were made by the students, the high school students of our guest, who was Elizabeth Knierim, and she's a local high school chemistry teacher. She's also very involved with the STEM Center here, doing a lot of science camp stuff, works with our Noyce scholars. So she's very involved in teacher education as well as outreach and formal ed in her own classroom. So she did a Mole Day, a whole day activity with her chemistry kids. And Mole Day, of course, is October 23rd for 10 to the 23rd. Number of molecules in a mole. So just in appreciation, and I don't know if this was part of an official activity that day, but her students made her a couple of these lovely looking moles. So nice little stuffed animals. But she came on and she talked to us about all the different activities, all centered around finding out how many, molecules were in this or that, how many moles. Because it's an interesting thought experiment in a way, because you just don't think about it. And then just the scale of the number of molecules of this or that in ordinary activities. One activity was, she called it just the bubblegum activity, where you look and you see, well, there's so many grams of sugar in this bubblegum, but how many molecules is that? How many moles? Let's break it down and figure it out. And so they spent the day doing different activities like that, all centered around the mole, the scientific mole. So, and again, she was just so passionate and excited about what she was doing with her students. And you can tell the students love it. They really pick up on that.
That is absolutely awesome.
And moles are cute. Yeah.
Yes, unless they're killing your raspberries.
Pardon me?
Unless they're killing your raspberries.
I was going to say, those moles, not quite as cute. So. And then so that was high school. We had another teacher on our program. She was from college. She's actually a professor here at SIUE. That was Jessica Krim. And she had another really fun activity that she did with her students who are pre-service teachers. So she's in the School of Education here. And so she works with those young people that are going on to someday be teachers and teach science in the classroom. So she has such an important role, really, Jessica does, because she's instilling the the love of science and the don't be afraid attitude of science in the new teachers going out. So she had this great cupcake activity where it's sort of a geology activity where you mine into the cupcake and you see the different layers that are inside. And it's sort of a process of science kind of activity. So you make observations and you look at this cupcake before you drill in and you try to envision what might be on the inside. And then you go ahead and you take, I think there's a picture actually of Nicole with her core. So you get a straw and you just poke it right into the cupcake and you pull it out, and it's like getting a core sample of the interior of the cupcake. And so you do this a few times and you start to build up a picture of what's inside, what the inside of this cupcake looks like. And so you can connect this to, interiors of planets, or just even more general is, how do you figure out what's inside anything that you can't really observe directly? So you get your evidence in other ways.
And this is one of those activities
of the interior.
Do we have? I don't think we have a picture of the interior. We have it up on the website.
Not. Oh,
that's okay. So everyone should.
We do have the lesson plan for this is on. It's on
Pinterest
our website somewhere.
We actually have it tied to our Pinterest account.
Oh, nice.
And I'm currently in the process of putting together a demo to show in a few minutes. So if I'm looking down, that's why. You heard thumping a few minutes ago. I'm sorry, but my 15-year-old dog couldn't quite stand up and kept tripping over my doorstop.
Okay.
So she has been rescued. So we have a really cool version of the cupcake tied to our Pinterest account. And if you go to Pinterest, there are planetary cakes that will make you wish that you had baking skills. I do not have baking skills, but they're truly inspiring what some people out there have figured out how to do to combine chocolate, confection, and geophysics. So go check all of that out. It's really, really cool the way people are finding to get everyone interested in science.
Sure. And, a little food is always, good. Always makes it more fun, and just grabs the kids' attention right away, and the adults too. And so the cupcake activity is just wrote it up, and so you can get the whole lesson plan, and it has instructions on how to bake the cupcakes. So they all come out in very different, interesting ways. So it's really interesting to make those predictions and then actually then cut the cupcake open and see what the heck's really in there. And it's hard too, but the kids love it because it's food.
And it's kind of like real science. Real science doesn't always do what you predicted, as Pluto has just proven to us.
That's true. And so, this activity is really more of a, like I said, it's a process of science. It's getting into the different, how does science go? What happens when you have an unknown thing and you can't really see it, directly. So you've got to gather evidence and then build some sort of a model, and then you debate, what I think it's like this. No, I think it's this other way. And you have some evidence to support. So it's this, reasoning and arguing, all these good skills that, are highlighted, a little more now in the new science standards too. And so this lesson was, trying to pull all that together, and it does a great job. And I know actually that lesson is out there on the internet, itself, just in probably many different forms. So you can grab it and try it.
Cool.
So lots of good science learning in the formal classroom as well. So then do you want to just do science next?
Sure.
So as I was thinking through all of this, the show really highlights education and outreach, but, we talk to scientists also, and most of the time they're doing some sort of education and outreach along with all of their stuff. But we actually just get a chance to talk about some really good just science during the shows too. And so there are a couple of nice example of that. And the one, you went the Dawn Mission one?
Sure.
It doesn't
So
matter either.
start with the friendly picture of Alice or start with a different one?
Oh, actually not Alice, sorry.
Whitney?
You have one of Whitney? Yeah. I can mention Alice, but that's actually a side thing. So
Okay.
so you actually did the hangout with the Dawn crew.
I did one of them, and Nicole did one of them, and there was probably a third in there, and I don't know who did the third one.
Yeah. So anyway, so this was Whitney Cobb. This is one of the ones I was not there for, but she education and outreach with the Dawn Mission, and so the whole, well, I can't really say the whole team, but a few members of the team from the Dawn Mission were there talking about some education and outreach, but also a lot about the mission itself, a lot about what they hope to find out and what they did find out. So along with all of the, the outreach stuff, we get some nice interaction with some of the scientists on the show too, and that's always amazing, because half the time most of that is just way over my head, but it's amazing to just know that people are out there learning and investigating all of these new things. So that must just be, that is just one of the cool pictures. I just thought lots of lovely craters there.
Slides of some of the imagery of Vesta that we were looking at. And one of the reasons that we work with the Dawn Mission in particular is we have Vesta mappers at cosmoquest.org. If you haven't checked it out, go. It gives you a first-hand view, or at least second-hand through the spacecraft's cameras, of this little tiny rocky world that got totally deformed when it got slammed into by another object. So we're in the process of trying to map it out. We need your help. We can't start mapping a series until we finish with Vesta. And talking about the science of this little world is one of the things that we've done with just about all of our programs here at CosmoQuest. So it's kind of near and dear to me. And don't forget, we do have the ongoing Summer of Science Challenge right now. So the 4 people that do the most science this summer are going to receive binoculars from Celestron. So go check that out. Go map things. Get your chance to get a pair of binoculars. And while first place is super high numbers right now, you have the possibility to easily catch up to 3rd and 4th place. So get your science on and start mapping rocky worlds.
Get mapping. Yeah, the solar system stuff is just so amazing to me, because for me, it's the biggest change in astronomy since, I really, of course, learned it as a kid and then was first into amateur astronomy. And for so long, it seemed like what we knew about the solar system was pretty much, what we had known for a while anyway. There were little things coming in, but now all of a sudden, the past, 10 years, it's just like an explosion of all these new, things that we know, and the solar system is so different than it was when I was, smaller. And so it's just trying to wrap your head around, the comet isn't, what I thought of as a comet, just, 15, 20 years ago. It's really
or 5 months ago. Well, whenever Rosetta got there, I don't know when that was, a year ago at least.
Yeah. So it just, the solar system jump in knowledge is just mind-boggling, and it's really exciting. And it's just a whole different, mindset too, that all this new stuff can come in so fast and the changes can happen so fast. I always had in my mind that science, it changes, but not very fast, because it takes a long time to, at least it seemed to, prove something different than what had been, known before. And that takes a lot of effort. And now it's just like every day. Yeah, I know, you're just bombarded with it, it's great. It's a good thing. So we have, lots of good stuff going on with the science. The other one that I picked, I just remember because it also
Cosmic
highlights a little
Castaways.
curriculum that we did. So it's, of course, education too, but the Cosmic Castaways is the curriculum, is the activity. And it was John Feldmeyer and Patrick Durrell from Youngstown State University, and they're always so much fun to talk to. And they are, I love the picture of them sitting in their planetarium. They're so funny. They're good guys. So they both came on the show and talked about their research with galaxies, and then also the development of, I believe they talked a little bit about their planetarium show as well, which Pamela, you probably know a little more about than I do, but we developed an activity to go along with that and their galaxy colliding and castaway
So we did
off into the void galaxy stuff.
We did a planetarium show that told the story of how stars get literally cast out of galaxies during galaxy interactions. I got to narrate the show as well as help edit the text, and it's completely free. It's out there, provided free of charge. We have a version up on YouTube. And if you're a planetarium owner, director, facilitator, whatever the correct title may be for your ability to pick what shows are shown in a planetarium, you can go and get this movie, and it's free. So show it, make your audiences happy with science.
And teachers can show it.
It's completely free.
Almost inspirational, motivational. It's just a cool, it's a cool little program. And you can, so there's a flat screen version, right? So you can just show it in your classroom. And then if you want to do the Cosmic Castaways activity, that's great. It also works well just as part of any other astronomy curriculum. All right.
So I want to give a quick shout out to all the people who are watching us in the audience, and also do a station identification. Those of you tuning in late, this is Learning Space episode 100. I am, as the title says, Pamela Gay. I'm the director of CosmoQuest. And with me is Georgia Bracey, who is our education lead and makes the learning happen around here. And I see that we have a great audience out there that includes Guido Bibra, who has with him, it's scrolled, he has a cookie and tea, and I'm very jealous. I see folks spanning from him in Germany to Nevada to other folks in Illinois. People all over are tuning in, and we thank you for joining us for this celebration. So we've done science, we've done outreach, we've done formal education. One of the things that ties all of this together is we do demonstrations and we pull together resources. So if you tuned in last week, we had Alice from Alice's Astro Info as a guest, and she talked about painting with salt, and it inspired me to go ahead and try. So this is not paint. This is a 50-50 mixture of Epsom salt and water that I painted on, completely transparent, onto a piece of black foamy. And it crystallized. The camera, let me see if I can, there we go. So you can just make out how this is all crystals on the paper. And I actually put together a time series video of this process happening. So if you go to our blog, it is linked in to the episode 99 blog post at cosmoquest.org/x/educatorzone. And you can see, with happy little free to air music, those crystals forming one by one. And you've collected together several awesome resources that have been discussed over the episodes.
Right. So, yeah, we've talked to, and again, these are only a couple, because most of the, every time we talk to somebody, usually they have, their website or their, their place somewhere, a link where you can get lots of good resources for their particular program or activity. But something a little more general, we spoke with, you want to do Wavelength?
Yeah.
First? Yeah, might as well. So NASA spent a long time getting this wonderful website
Years.
together. I was going to say, I don't even remember when they started, but it's NASA Wavelength. And we have a couple of our curricula in there. It's a great resource, and it's a lovely website. And you're seeing a picture of it here. They have all kinds of activities, and they've got them so nicely organized and tagged so that you can you can search for just about whatever you're looking for, whether you need an activity on a particular, like on the sun, and it has to be for third and fourth graders, and you want it for, a certain length of time. I mean, it's just a great website for, your first sort of go-to for astronomy activities. And they have, different audiences in there. So if you're like a scout person, a scout leader, or you're just doing outreach, they have activities grouped there that are really, lend themselves well to that kind of audience and that kind of environment. If you're formal ed, so you're looking for something, for high school in the classroom, they've got it. And everything in Wavelength has been through NASA review. So scientists look at it, experienced educators look at it. They make sure the science is right. They make sure it's engaging. They make sure the level is right. So you are getting, the activities you get out of here have been really vetted. So it's a great place to go for, anything you need activity-wise and lesson-wise for just about any audience. So we had, gosh, who did we have come on and talk about that? That was Morgan, wasn't it? Morgan Warner at the time was working with that, and she came on and gave us a nice tour and told us all the lovely features. You can create lists. There she is. There's Morgan. You can kind of personalize it as well. So if you're going to be back and forth in that site a lot, you can save lists and things, and it's a really nice site. So NASA Wavelength, a really good resource for outreach or formal educator.
And the Wavelength URL is just nasawavelength.org. Nothing fancy, no getting totally lost at nasa.gov. We love nasa.gov. It's unmanageable to search.
It's huge.
Yeah. So just go to nasawavelength.org and everything is there. And the one thing that Georgia didn't mention is it's also all accessible to screen readers. There's a lot of effort put into making sure this is truly accessible no matter how you're accessing the internet.
Right, yeah. So that's an excellent resource. And then, of course, citizen science. We had Lily, and I want to say Bowie. I'm hoping that's correct pronunciation. She was wonderful. She came on one episode and took us all through the SciStarter website. So if you're looking for citizen science in particular, and you're looking for activities, again, searchable according to what sort of content do you want a space themed citizen science activity? Do you want something with animals? The whole range of citizen science that's out there. Most of it, I have a feeling, is somewhere on SciStarter. It's a huge site. And so you can go in and look for different topics, different kinds of activities, and get your students, if you're a formal educator, it's very education friendly. They have some nice newsletters, one especially for educators. So that's another great resource if you're looking to get into a little citizen science, either for yourself or for your kids, for your scouts, for your students. SciStarter is a great resource. So it's great to have people come on and show you, take you on the personalized tour, really, of their resource. Because sometimes, nobody has enough time, it seems, to go and really dig in to something. It's like all the tutorials and things that are out there, and nobody has time to actually do them. So when we have somebody that comes on and can really give you the guided tour, it's awesome. So we've had much more than these two on the show. It's great There are a lot of good resources out there.
And we're going to work to keep doing what we can to keep bringing you these excellent resources. And as we look to move into the future, as we look to do our, dare I say, next 100 episodes, what we're hoping to do is mix up what we do a little bit to try and make this an even more powerful resource for educators out there. We're still in the process of putting together the blog post, and as always, it will go out to our Patreon followers before it goes out to the public. We actually no longer have NASA funding to put together Learning Space because, well, they're in the process of reorganizing NASA, and not reorganizing NASA, but reorganizing how a lot of different programs are funded, going through and making sure everything that is funded has a powerful impact. And we're in that interim year between all the stuff they did previously and all the new stuff that's going to come. And in this interim year, it's people like you through Patreon that have allowed us to keep going. And if you don't know about our Patreon page, it is patreon.com/learning space. And I'd encourage you to go check it out. We don't have a whole lot of patrons, but it's been enough to just barely let us keep going. And we'd like to do more than barely keep going. We'd like to kind of thrive and be shiny. And to thrive and be shiny, we need your help. But looking ahead in more positive ways other than begging for money, which is clearly what I spend most of my time doing, as we look to shake up what we're doing, well, first of all, we're taking August off. I'm going to the National Astronomical Union. Georgia's teaching all sorts of amazing things and doing amazing things at the STEM Center. And then we come back for the school year. And we're already working on plotting out things that will help you prepare for the upcoming lunar eclipse, for the International Observe the Moon Month, for the meteor showers that occur in the fall. We have the I'm trying not to be northern centric. We have the September equinox. We have the December solstice. And as we prepare for all of these different sky events, we're going to work to teach you how to better convey all of these concepts to your kids, to your students, to your audiences. And as we do this, we're going to work to when we can, bring you the research behind this is why we teach this the way we do. We're going to work to bring you demonstrations that you can use. And just like I did for last week's Learning Space, where I did a Learning Space Presents on how to paint with Epsom salt, we're going to work on doing Learning Space Presents. Well, I am, at least. I'm not going to volunteer Georgia. If we get enough Patreons, she'll be in helping too. We're going to work to put together demos so that you can see bit by bit how this works, how it looks, exactly what to expect. So yeah, and along with this, we're recognizing all of you out there listening, this show is for adults, but we're hoping you're taking back what we're giving you and taking it to your kids. But there really aren't that many places that are just for kids that are really good for science. And we're going to work to create at least one small corner of the internet that is a kid-safe place with astronomy content. And we're going to do that thanks to funding to Nucleo, our partners with the Galileo Teacher Training Program in Portugal, from the Office of Astronomy for Development. This is a eScience Cafe program that is partnered with GalileoStudents.org, which is currently a fully functional website that lacks the content that will start coming out on a regular basis in the fall. So be prepared to get your kids involved through the internet in safe ways that will help them keep learning. And you clearly have new faces now. Nicole Gallucci worked with Georgia for 2.5 years,
Yeah.
putting this show together, and she is off to be a full-fledged professor type person. She's starting down the tenure track path in Manchester, New Hampshire, and we wish her the best. And I'm going to be stepping in and with a different color hair, trying to fill her very active shoes. And
Yeah, well, we'll probably get her back for a couple of guest appearances once she gets her feet under her and all that at the new place. So, because we all interested to hear what she's up to with her students in her classroom. So, it'll be pretty interesting. So we'll get her back for a couple of maybe guest appearances, special guest. But we'd also love to have, I'd love to have some more teachers on, actually, personally, because that's my background. And so if you are, or a teacher that's interested in science or just trying something fun and different with your students, any level, but honestly, especially at the elementary level, I would love to have some elementary teachers on because, again, that's my background, but that's also the population of teachers that are a little hesitant to do science for, many reasons. It's really hard to do a lot of science at the elementary level these days in this country because it's just, for a variety of reasons, is not emphasized, which is strange, but there's many, it's complicated. But if you are able to get science in and you're trying out something and you'd like to come on and share with us, that would be awesome. So I think, educate at cosmoquest.org is one place where you can always send us an email if you have a question about the show or an idea for the show, or you'd like to be on the show, or someone who you think might be a good person to be on the show. We're always loving to have suggestions and ideas. So that's one easy way to get a hold of us. So I'm hoping for some teacher guests this year, and we'll see what we can do. But of course, all the people out there doing good science outreach, scientists, educators, we'll hopefully have some nice guests lined up for you this fall, and more demos. I can mention that. So we have a lot of good ideas coming in, and if you have anything that you'd like to throw on the pile, just send us an email.
And right now, while we're getting ready to go on hiatus, it's also getting to be that wonderful time of the year when you can see the center of our galaxy, Sagittarius, and all of the amazing stuff that's in the sky. So instead of looking at our faces in the month of August, we're going to encourage you to go outside and look up. And if you want to do that, we have nifty little online maps. Sorry, trying to move my hands, talk, and screen share has apparently filled my brain, and I'm suffering internal lag. Okay, so here is the website to go to, and this is from one of our past episodes. This is spaceplace.nasa.gov/starfinder. And you can go to this and get an awesome little map of the sky for each month of the year. And when you print these out, you can basically create, let me show you what I put together. You can create these little, well, we called them brain eaters when I was in school. But once you put them together, it allows you to see, first of all, what are the different constellations of the zodiac going around the sky. You have the sun in the center. It's showing for this particular month where the Earth is relative to the sun, so that you can see here, if I did successfully print out August, there we go. The Aquarius is high in the sky at midnight. And then if you flip open the pieces like you used to do as a kid to see what your future is, you can see all the different constellations that are out right now. And you can see that you have the Milky Way passing through the center of the sky. There's the happy little constellation Sagittarius that I mentioned. And all of this is completely free. So go outside and look up. And there is everything that you could want to observe in the month of August. You, of course, have full moon, new moon. You get that every month. That kind of comes for free. But there's also great meteor showers.
Oh, what about the Perseids? Do you know
Yeah.
outlook for that?
I don't know this year's outlook. I have to admit, I haven't looked yet either. But we have
going month to month here. It's still not August. The summer's going way too fast. But I did think about it just briefly the other day. I thought, oh, the Perseids coming up. I don't know if we're going to be lucky enough to have close to new moon. But nevertheless, even if the moon is being annoying at that period of the month, you can still see some nice, few good meteors usually. And even if you don't see any, it really is. I love the summer sky, northern hemisphere.
And so the Perseids run August 11th to 14th this year. And where I'm looking at Earth sky, I'm not seeing the moon right off the bat listed. But it's saying that no matter where you are in the world, you should expect a fine Perseid shower this year.
There's always something to see. So even if the moon's out, always go out and look at the sky anyway. You never know. So hopefully it won't be totally clouded out, but even, so if it's not optimal, that's okay. You go out and you look anyway. So it's a great time. Yeah, lots of good stuff in the August sky.
And if you happen to see lightning bugs, they finally figured out why lightning bugs glow the way they do. So that's one of those things that you can catch a lightning bug in a jar, look at it light up, let it go afterwards. There's no reason to hold them hostage, and then have fun looking up.
I think there's a citizen science project about that, but I don't remember the name of it.
And you can do amazing time-lapse photography to capture lightning bug glow.
Yes. So enjoy the summer sky.
So I think that's about all we had planned. Am I forgetting anything?
I can't think of anything else. I would like to thank our lovely core audience over the last 100 shows, since it's sort of a milestone here. I think it was Guido said he couldn't even think about making a top 10 list because it's all been amazing. And we have so appreciated having, our small group of people who have managed to make it. I know the time is not good for everybody, right? So I know a lot of people download this and watch it afterwards, and totally understand that. So, but the people that are here almost, without fail every episode and kind of gotten to know them, it's really, really a cool thing. And want to thank them for asking the questions and just saying hello and supporting the show every week. It's one of the great things about it. He's gotten to know some very cool people that support astronomy and science. So I want to say a good thank you to them and welcome, people that are just joining us, and to, like you say, another 100 episodes maybe. So that's what's up next.
And our next episode will be, unless something goes terribly wrong, September 2nd, and we are permanently shifting as far as we've planned so far, or at least for the next N months, shifting to this 5 p.m. Eastern time slot. So hopefully this will make it easier for more and more teachers to be able to tune in here in the United States. So thanks for sharing 100 episodes with us.
I know.
And here's to 100 more. Yeah. And stay tuned for completely random science through the month of August, as I bring you highlights as they come from the International Astronomical Union. And go do the science at cosmoquest.org. And if you have a little bit to give, we could sure use your help at patreon.com/learningspace. I hate begging for money, but this is what makes what we do possible.
Yeah, it's a fact of life these days.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But we appreciate it very much. So thanks for watching, everybody. Yay.
Yay. Okay. Signing off. Bye-bye. Thank you. You're all awesome.
All right. See you in September.